Welcome to the Izzy Chinche Show.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yes, I love that.
And I'm telling you that the amount of times that quote or that acronym has saved VettX is endless.
I'm so excited you're able to tune in. Join me as I interview athletes, entrepreneurs, and high achievers. I also share much about my life struggles, trials, and successes in hopes to inspire you. I intend for this show to be one of the greatest shows of all time, so your listening and support means the most to me. My goal is to help inspire as many people as possible, so please share with a friend if you enjoy just one thing from today's episode. Together, we can help more people grow. Let's get started. Talk to me actually about when you first had the idea of VettX, because that's why I want people to hear about, like,
Absolutely.
I don't even know, and then we just kind of talk about that, and then I'm gonna go all over the place with questions, I'm sure.
Look, at the end of the day, I had no intentions of owning a software company. I stumbled upon a software company.
Okay.
That's really the truth behind it. Where I really realized that this was something that I wanted to pursue, and that it was when I felt that if I didn't, I would regret that part of my life. At the time, I was doing a job that I didn't necessarily enjoy. I had graduated college during a recession. It was actually the financial crisis of '08. I graduated December '08.
Oh, wow.
With a degree in finance. So, I tailed between my legs, drove my car across the country. I went to University of Miami for a reason. It was one of the furthest points away from my hometown to graduate. And
Wait, you said you drove?
job.
I didn't know you drove. You drove across?
Oh, I drove.
Ow. Yeah.
I've driven the entire Interstate 10.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Long drive.
Long drive.
Yeah. Okay. So graduated, and one of the worst times possible to graduate. COVID, I would say, is probably up in that space too.
Well, and so my family was in the car business. They've had a Toyota dealership, as well as what we call it CDJR, but it's Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or CJDR. They call it's just the acronym. But yeah, I was back in my family's car business, and worked my way up to being the used car manager. And one of the things that one of our jobs as a used car manager is to manage inventory. And one of the ways I was doing that was buying cars through Craigslist at the time. And what started to happen was, as I was tracking the ROI on these vehicles, they were really fascinating to me. Certain things like reconditioning cost. Okay, so anytime a dealership buys a vehicle, it has to go through a shop for a smog, a safety, if it needs brake pads, or except whatever. The average cost of these private party cars was less than trade-ins or cars that we would get at an auction. Those are really the two main ways of getting inventory is the people buying new cars, and they're selling slightly used ones, and then auctions. But not very many people at the time were buying off the street.
Yeah.
So that's really where I was putting a lot of my focus, and I needed a tool to help me manage those leads, or those sellers, because I was missing a lot of them. And I was looking at the numbers. So, like, if you have a lower than average recon, that means you can have potential to make more money on the sell of the vehicle. And then after you sell a vehicle, there's something called reconditioning costs, back end sales, which is things like warranties or gap insurance, or things of that nature, as you're getting your financing done with whatever bank that's buying the note, etc. So calculating the front and the back end, the last thing that we look at in the auto industry is how fast did you sell that vehicle? What was the turn on it? So you want to have your turn around 45 days.
Okay.
We were at 42.
Mm-hmm.
We were making $1,200 more on average on the actual vehicles I was buying.
Wow.
Compared to the other trade-ins and auctions, and then our recon was less.
Wow.
So we were buying better inventory, essentially, making more money, even though I was actually theoretically paying more for the vehicle because I'm now paying private party. I'm not paying through our regular wholesale channels.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just share the idea. I said I started expanding my markets and where I was buying the vehicles from, and I kept telling myself, gosh, if I just, if my family had another dealership, or should I just buy a gravel lot somewhere and like start buying them in San Francisco and have my own used car lot there, and maybe just start expanding that way. And then it dawned on me, my gosh, the infrastructure is already built. It's the dealership body.
Yeah. Be that.
And it's far, far greater, far larger than CarMax, Carvana. I mean, you look at CarMax, they only have 303 or so locations. Let's just say 350 to be conservative.
Yeah.
Toyota has 1,400.
Wow. Wow.
Independence is over 50,000.
Well, I think about how many used car lots you just see. Like I have a street right out there. I go down, there's like 3 or 4 car lots. Yeah.
Just going down the street, right? Just going to like your local grocery store, you're going to cross that many. So the opportunities huge in that market. And that's when I'm like, wow, if I was able to, at the time the software was very rudimentary, and I just built it for myself, right?
Yeah.
But if I built it so that everybody liked it or saw value in it, then they could rent my software, which is something called SaaS, which is software as a service, business to business.
I love that.
Almost went bankrupt twice. Wow. A lot of struggle, a lot of fight, a lot of mental.
Was there fight there with your like family owning the dealership and you doing your own thing, or was it there was a lot of support there, or was there friction in that?
To own your business and to take risk,
there
is a fight amongst yourself.
Yes.
I would say more than anything.
Yes, 100%. That's so true. It's like every day. Yeah, I'm in that, so I feel that.
It's fighting that part in your head that I can't do this, or I don't, I'm too afraid of failure, or people tell me that that's not going to work. Or but I will say, within some of the biggest failures that I experienced with VettX came the greatest successes.
I love that.
Oddly enough. And there was this one, I'm in the middle of the night, I'm having panic attacks, waking up at 3 a.m. I can't sleep. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I don't even have enough money in my bank account to make the next payroll. I'm out of business situation. I saw this inspirational quote about, you can't quit if you never throw in the towel. And as stupid as that saying sounds, me saying it out loud right now, it really resonated with me, because I never quit. And I never had any intentions of quitting. And that's what kept me fighting. And when I had to lay off 28 people in one day, and maybe actually 27, I believe is what the number was, because I kept myself. Kind of had to do that one. And two other people. That was it.
Wow.
And we kept the current clients that we had, which was enough money that was coming in order for me to rebuild and restructure the business the right way.
Yeah, that's that thing that like I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs talk about. Once you bring in all these employees, and it's not about just you building out your business. You're like, these people are relying on paychecks, and then not being able to make payroll. I feel like I've heard that. so many times when people talk about like the stress of that, like, you know, these are people with lives and you get to that point and the stress of it, like that's not something that I would like to encounter.
Yeah, you're not just taking care of your own kids, you know, or your own rent, you know.
Yeah.
Um, that's also the beauty of being a business owner, but where it can feel lonely is that at the end of the day, nobody is going to work harder than you.
Yeah.
No one's going to put in that extra effort to learn whatever it is that's necessary in order for them to get that paycheck.
Yeah.
They never see it or understand it that way, and that's fair, you know. I don't think I ever really appreciated it even when I worked for my family, you
Yeah.
know,
Not the same way. Yeah.
not the same way.
Yeah.
So so yeah, you know, but you know, ultimately there's another philosophy I stick by, which is the KISS method. And I'll do that all the time in meetings. And I'm not sitting here blowing you a kiss. What I'm saying is keep it simple, stupid.
Yes, I love that.
And I'm telling you that the amount of times that quote or that acronym has saved VettX is endless. You know, or some of the best ideas have come from keeping it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't have to be so big. You can just bring it, work it backwards. What's the one next step? Like that's something like I was even talking about today because I actually went live with all my podcasts and everything today. And
okay.
the biggest piece I kept on telling myself in the entire process was done is done. Get fancy later. Like
Yeah.
you just sit there and pick all this apart and you know try and make it perfect. If it's done, it's done. And you move on and start working on the next thing instead of like, you know what I mean? Because otherwise I'm like, all right, yeah, done is done. Get fancy later. That's helped me for sure.
You know, I think another big one for anybody who has an idea, they have something that they feel is special, that they believe in, that they know that has capabilities for greatness, is how do you get your first client? How do you get your second client? You know,
Yeah.
how do you start selling it, and what are the lead generation process look like? And
Yeah.
that can be really overwhelming sometimes.
Yes.
Um, but I'll tell you, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It really is not that hard. Um, there's I'll actually send the link to you, a free step-by-step process that I use,
Oh,
the
nice.
exact same method. And since using it, the company is, you know, we would consider a $25,000 to $30,000 growth month to be a really, really strong month.
Yeah.
We just finished last month at 140 and the month before that at 120
Growth.
in growth.
Wow.
The month before that was like high 90s. So we had just hit our first 100,000 and then we did it again. And so let me see.
Yes.
Uh,
And I'll put it in the show notes for the podcast too, and then anyone can look at that.
it's yeah, it's incredibly simple.
Yeah.
And you know, especially when you're selling something,
Mhm.
when it's something that, you know, for me is I have the ability to help dealerships acquire more inventory
Yeah.
by utilizing vehicles that are for sale
Mhm.
in your backyard.
Yeah.
And not only are they for sale, but people that are buying them are in your backyard too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I don't think your biggest competitor, if I'm a Toyota store, is the Nissan store, the Honda store down the street. I really don't believe that.
Yeah.
It's it's Craigslist, it's Facebook Marketplace, it's Cars.com, it's
Yeah.
Car Dealers, it's Auto Trader.
Yeah.
Now, what if I was able to say that I could not only use AI but also be able to use your dealership sales history to be able to predetermine vehicles that already make business sense for you across all those different channels, put them into one spot, and then the communication's done in one spot as well. So I can actually send you an SMS message and never open up that SMS app. It's all done through the software. And when the SMS communicate, or the Facebook Messenger communication comes back, it's coming back within my software as if it was a text message.
That's awesome. And is that live right now, or that's okay? So that's the whole, okay. I was wondering if that text message part and everything, that's insane. So are you in the place? Oh yeah, I just got it. Your link, I think. Do you have the goal to sell VettX, or what is your plan with it? Or you're holding on, you're still growing it, or how much have you sold part of it? Yeah, I'm like, all of that.
I'll tell you. If I would have known this, I might not have done it, but also that's the fun in all of it is software is definitely a go big, go home strategy.
Yeah.
You don't get that option in the middle. And for me, the option in the middle was, if I can get my business up to $10 million, I would consider myself retired. I'd be able to live off dividends, or I'd be able to buy some real estate and live comfortably and really do whatever I truly love or enjoy, which in this particular case, it actually really is VettX. I love and enjoy what I do every day. And so unfortunately in software, $10 million is a drop in the bucket. The actual buyers of software, they want to see these X factors that, you get your business to the point where it's generating $3 to $5 million in sales. And you don't just have a couple clients, big clients paying you. It's diversified all over the country.
Domination.
That's when, that's when you start getting offers from people.
Okay. All right. So it's you're like, that wasn't the plan.
It wasn't the plan, but I'm okay with it. Okay. I'm like,
what you're doing, because what is your daily schedule like now? Because you said you're mainly on Zoom, right? So you get to work from home.
I get to work from home. Yeah, I promoted my office space from my dining room to my living room. But I do travel still. I think I'm going to be in Indiana or Indianapolis. I don't really know I'm going somewhere on Sunday.
Okay.
One of those two, what cities or states? Anyway. But yeah, we're doing a really interesting, the business has gotten to a size now where it's called cross-selling. So our original concept of just renting the software to dealerships, or what I call rooftops across the country, that's one revenue stream. But then there's other revenue streams that we call partnerships and integrations, API integrations.
Okay.
So we have, if you own a software company, what your business is collecting data.
Okay.
The most important part of software is the data that you're collecting. And so, when I was saying earlier, we were going out of business and I had to, it wasn't firing, it was laying off those 27 employees. That was a rebuild of the software from the ground up.
Wow.
And rebuilding it for scalability purposes. So something like a San Francisco foundation for a skyscraper, no one ever sees it. But you can only imagine what all that entails, be able to withstand earthquakes and all those types, things. They only just see the shiny lobby and the units above it. So that was an incredibly difficult decision. And for
that was 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, the rebuild. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
That was 2 years ago. And so we really just did the best we could to keep the customers as happy as possible while doing the rebuild. I had someone very minorly maintaining the current software, but at the end of the day, I couldn't keep betting my cards on that.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, I just had to let it go and then make the transition. And, the ones that stayed, the ones that didn't. But it was the best decision I ever made in my life because we couldn't have seen that type of rapid growth if it wasn't for it. So
yeah, because then you're not paying employees to do the searching and the digging. You literally get it streamlined and fast track. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
And those automation aspects of the software cannot be done if your foundation is cracked.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So wait, so you did so you scratched all of the software that you did a completely new system. Wow. And you had already had VettX around for a couple of years at that point, right?
3. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 years and then basically salvage started. That's insane. That's awesome though.
Yeah. That was a tough one. I I didn't want to do it. I'm sitting here like, because I don't necessarily, like I stumbled on a software company. I don't necessarily know how to code. Actually, to be honest with you, I do not know how to code.
Yeah, I couldn't even.
No.
I have no idea I don't even know what that entails. Like someone was talking about that the other night, and they're like, "Yeah, I just learned this new code." And they're talking about it's literally like learning a whole language.
Yeah.
It's just another level. That's not something I'm interested in.
Well, so are you gonna learn Portuguese or are you gonna learn Italian? Like which one are you gonna learn today? Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, you only got like a month to learn it because you're going out of business.
They're going under, baby.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah. Okay. So then you just outsourced or did you have someone in the company who knew how to rebuild that? Or did you have to have someone to come in?
I had it was I consider a good friend of mine and still works for VettX. He had just graduated with his master's degree in computer sciences. Helped me understand what full stack development is.
Okay.
And that's really just basically from the ground up, right?
Yeah.
Like what is all involved in the engineering aspect of software.
Yeah.
In order to grow the right way, in order to have things like API keys where you can share pieces of information, but then how do you secure that?
Wow.
Things that I didn't know or understand, or certain things like we were paying for a server room and we actually had bought a server and we had another server, and then we were running a bunch of servers, and there's something called like the cloud, I think, like
Yeah.
like you can just get all the servers you want for pennies on the dollar up there. I'm like, oh, duh. That makes sense. Yeah, let's convert. Let's do that. That makes way more sense. Yeah.
That's awesome though, that you also were able to have the mindset to be like, obviously we need to make the shift, because there's part of that is like, you're like, no, we're 3 years into this system, like, and being able to pivot completely. I have a lot of respect for that. That's hard. Yeah.
A lot of sleepless nights at that on that one, but so for anyone who watches this, I'm a kinesthetic learner.
Yeah.
These are the mistakes that I made that I wish I hadn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it put me into certain situations that are extremely scary.
Yeah.
And they really do mean a lot to your mental health, your personal life, your relationships with people, and you and I have been friends for a long time, and so you know what I'm talking about there. And it's if I could do things over again, I would have prepared myself more for what am I really getting myself into here.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And then and at the end of the day, it's very, very easy now that I understand it. But I let my ego get the best of me, because I did have some successes within a dealership business.
Yeah.
Dealership business is not a software business, completely different business. And so I was trying to operate it the way that I know how to operate, in my mind, what I thought business was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wasn't looking at it like this is a software database collecting company. And
Yeah.
if my data is supposed to be collecting, this particular column is supposed to be collecting numbers and it's collecting letters,
Yeah.
that's not good. That's
Wrong. Yeah.
and you can't fix a database, or if the language that you're using is what we call legacy language, PHP. Um, for those who know that language, that's okay, but there's better ones out there. The that I think is I don't know where I was going with the language aspect, but
Just having like not having humility and not letting your ego get the best of you too. Like you came into it and then you had to pivot into that.
correct. Yeah, that was the point of what I was trying to say there. Thank you for.
No, I was tracking. I was like, that was
yeah, you were tracking. I lost myself like 2 or 3 minutes ago. I'm like, hey, what am I saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Goldfish.
It's a Michael Scott. Sometimes I just start things and I don't know where they're going.
I don't know where they're going. They're going somewhere. Exactly.
I love that. I mean, I think that's something everyone can learn from. Just where is your ego really actually harming you? Because it's usually, I feel like for me, it's because I'm just not like being open-minded to making a shift somewhere, like making some sort of change, because I don't want to admit that maybe my way isn't the best way. And I have parents that, I need to reroute and just be like, yeah, that's a better way. Let's do it that way. So no, I appreciate that.
Couple of big things. Get yourself a mentor.
Yes. Yeah.
Get yourself a mentor, because and that mentor needs to be somebody that understands what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
With whatever industry that you're into, whether it's software or I don't know, dog grooming, right? Get yourself a mentor to be able to ask those questions and have the it's not the humility, maybe that's the wrong term, but the open-mindedness of saying, hey, I can really increase my learning curve, by trusting this mentor.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're up there with that mentor, and then you're getting another mentor that's above that, and then you keep scaling up that way.
That was even me like a couple of weeks ago with you. I had, the thing come up in my business and I was like, Nick, we need to get on a call. Like, what do you think I should do? Exactly. Yeah.
A mentor, if somebody's not willing to help you, they're not the right person anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It usually probably comes from a place that they just really don't know. Yeah. But yeah, Matt, his friend of mine, Matt, he owns a company called Exit 83. And they're software developers. That's what it is. He worked for Microsoft 28 years ago. Was one of those like couple first employees. So had some nice stock options, and definitely understand software from the ground up. So in regards to, going from Devon to Matt, that was a huge level up. So Devon was that master grad. Yeah. All of a sudden now I'm talking to LeBron James playing a high schooler one-on-one in basketball. Difference in skill sets, right?
Yeah.
And he was the one that actually convinced me to do the database change, do the rebuild.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And now he was getting financial gain from it because I was paying for a service. He's a vendor at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. definitely getting a mentor outside of that, but at certain points in your company, when you got no one else to turn to,
Yeah.
you sometimes have to really trust your gut. And for me, that was Matt.
Yeah.
I knew that because I cried a lot to him. And he would listen and I'll just be like, hey dude, I gotta go. You're being awkward.
That's so relatable. So I have this friend and she's starting her business as well. And she's working in the NIL with a bunch of other athletes. And it's like breaking into your business, like there's so many pieces of it where you're just crying. You're like, there's so many, I mean, and we will call each other and it'll be like, hey, how's it going? I just got this new sale. I got this new client. I got this, da, da, da. And then like 5 hours later, like, dude, like, what am I doing?
More like 5 minutes later.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I got this new client. I don't even know what to do with them.
I call that the roller coaster ride. So
Yeah.
that's the roller coaster phase, and then you hit the rocket ship phase, and then you got to get through the atmosphere. That phase gets pretty crazy.
Again, I like that. I like that. Yeah, say that again.
I love analogies. I really do, because it really does truly paint the picture of what it's like to go on a journey of being an entrepreneur and being evolving.
Yeah. Yeah. So wait, no, but you said what the first phase of entrepreneurship. Wait, I wanted to hear.
It's a roller coaster. The second phase is the rocket ship.
Okay.
And that's where I'm at. I mean, I'm on the rocket ship phase. I think I got out of the atmosphere. I don't know if I'm like gassing up at the space station. I think I'm around there right now.
I'm on the ride to the launch still.
While we were taking off, this happened like somewhere around February. That's when the new software released.
Yeah.
It felt I was having these wild things like deja vu and coincidences, something that like is so strange, yet they were so strong and so real.
Wow.
And it wasn't just me experiencing them. I wasn't going crazy over here. I'd have somebody next to me going, whoa, you're right. Like, why is there white cars surrounding us? And everywhere you turn, at every like corner and spot where there would be like, danger, for example, every car was white.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, this took place for a solid like 5 minutes while I was trying to get through the farmer's market and get to Notre Dame, which is my kid's school.
Yeah.
I had to get through downtown, and then we were running late, and I hit the farmer's market. It was the first night, and I'm just like, oh my God, the market. So I had to like go around and whatnot, and then all of a sudden all the cars turned white, and everything just opened up, and I was able to get like,
wow.
Yeah, it's hard to like. It's crazy. It was like the most wildly beautiful thing. Yeah, it was that was one of the biggest ones.
Wow.
But yeah, yeah. And it was interesting because I really felt like I felt really safe in that moment too.
Yeah.
Like so like good things were happening, like
it was making sense. Things were clicking and it's gonna work out kind of thing. Yeah.
I finally got off that big, the zipper, that fair ride.
Yeah. I love that you bring that up because yeah, exactly. Yeah. I haven't hit that calm cruising space yet. But I'll let you know when I get there.
It's nice when you do. I'm starting to experience that. I'm starting to actually take vacations again. I just got back from San Diego, for example, and
Nice.
and not feel stressed out. So
yes.
but definitely having a mentor that's in your industry that understands and has gone through what you've gone through,
Yeah.
um, to be able to help you with your learning curve, keeping things simple, stupid, believing in yourself first and foremost, um, and then allowing your employees to be autonomous within the business
Hmm.
is extremely difficult, and sometimes it's going to bite you, but when it doesn't, um it pays off a lot. I just restructured my company out of Delaware,
Okay.
and um that was a big shift because I had never had stock options. I wasn't like
Uh,
100% owner when I first started. My family did help with some of
yeah.
the seed money.
Yeah.
Uh, I never really did fundraising, and so um, it's really easy to do. There's a company. I'll add the link to it as well. It's called um, Carta.
Cool. Have you heard of that book, Your Next Five Moves by Patrick Bet?
No.
He talks about a little bit what you're talking about of structuring your company in a way that sets up your employees to climb and be able to not cap out. If they cap out, then it's gonna their motivation, they're gonna get like just investing in your employees and setting up pay structures and systems for them to be able to rise instead of like, yeah, just cruise at your space like the whole time or whatever.
You're absolutely correct. It's something that, I struggled with for the longest time because I didn't know how do you pay somebody on a performance-based pay plan that's good for your business as well as good for them on something that's never been done before.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. And so, where are the benchmarks? You know,
Where do you, yeah, that's so true.
I'm gonna share you some benchmarks that I use. I just recently actually went through the calculations and to make sure everything was still smooth sailing. But um, where is it? I'll be in my Google Drive. But Cartera is really cool because it's an area where it's a software that helps you not only set your business up, but also um, like, like the cap table, which they call it, which is when you have your employee stock options,
Mhm.
um, so that employees can actually get a piece of the company as it
Yeah,
grows.
that's
Uh,
exactly, yeah, that's,
and then you get free. Well, I mean, it's not free. You actually pay for this, but it's worth its weight in gold. I think I pay for the like full Monty, and it's
yeah,
less. I think 6,000 a year.
okay,
But I'm paying for everything, so I can talk to a CPA at any point in time. All I got to do is click, hey, call, like
yeah,
set up a meeting with a CPA right now, and it's every 15 minutes you can set one up. So,
yeah,
um, and and yeah, it's a cool way for any employees that you do have that's part of the option pool, because not all of your employees are going to be of that caliber. Those are usually
yeah,
people that are on the advisory board or
yeah,
things of, the actual board itself. But those are things that you gotta, get to a couple million in sales before you start really having to think about things like that.
yeah.
Um, but the structure within um I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Part-
Carta. People are gonna make fun of me because they're like, dude, you need to say the company name. It's Lexic, guys. All right. Don't make fun of me.
Exactly,
That's my
yeah.
feelings.
My feelings are hurt. Great job.
Yeah. They're her right now talking about, okay? Jeez.
But look how awesome your setup is. So it doesn't even matter. So
it makes up for all of the weaknesses. I got
where are you? Are you in Costa Rica? My gosh, I love it. Yeah, the plant.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
no, send if it's not, it doesn't matter. People are gonna have the link and that they can look it up. I'll put it in the
Okay.
put it in the notes. You're good. You're helping people out. You're adding value, Nick. That's what matters.
Yeah, I'll find the KPI. It's pretty easy to run through. I mean, like I use QuickBooks still. It's not. For example, my business is really three areas. You've got your development, you got your sales and marketing. I 100% would not outsource my marketing whatsoever if I could do things over again.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a lot.
So the link that I shared you in regards to lead generation, that ROI of how he talks about setting up the website for traffic and generating leads the right way. I think far exceeds what I ever got with overspending on paid media, especially if you have something like a national brand and you're trying to reach certain clients. It can get extremely expensive, and you're really just throwing a lot of money at the wall and hoping something sticks. Email campaigns are way better than throwing 10 grand on Facebook ads,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm definitely in that phase of like learning all those different things. But I mean, I literally went back to Saturday. I was like, how do I know how do I know, or what do I know that has worked, like you said, for making sales? What has worked for me? And that is interaction, like actually interacting with someone. That is where because that's where I can show the most. And so I literally took my business cards. I was like, I need more coaching clients. I need more kids in my groups. So I literally went out to the fields where I know all these kids are playing their games on Saturday mornings and went and talked to the parents. It's like, hi, this is who I am. Who is your, and I was like, because exactly what you said, I know that works. And sure enough, I got more clients. And I was like, all right, then that's what I'm going to stick to. That's also free.
mm-hmm.
Doesn't cost me anything to do that.
Exactly.
And it gets you, I feel like for me, it's still something that's hard to like, just go out there and sell yourself, it's
Put yourself out there. I call it the necessary evil.
Yeah. Yes, it is. No, it really is. Gosh, even my podcast, I was like, really, am I going to do this? I was like, yep, I'm going to do it. Putting myself out there. Did you get that link in there or?
I'm actually, it's a Google Doc. I'm not sure. I think what I can do is just share it to you.
Yeah, just email it to me and then I can add it. But yeah, okay, all right. But I want to go to so I think you kind of talked about them, but like your solid top three pieces of advice for a young entrepreneur. You can take a second to think, but I think,
Yes. Mentor. Keep your marketing and leads in-house.
I love that. That was so easy. You nailed that. Okay.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Keep it simple.
No one's going to know your business better than you. Even if you doubt yourself in regards to sales, because I don't know. Maybe my buddy Cody's the only person that I ever met that genuinely loves to sell their own product. but most of us we just want to share,
Exactly. Yeah.
We just want to help. And that it sometimes can hurt us as owners.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to ask for the sale.
Yeah.
And so I do have to have that necessary evil, which that sounds terrible to say. I should rephrase that term because it's not. I love my sales team,
Yeah.
But they are not afraid to ask for that sale. They're not afraid to get more aggressive than I would,
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, it's a lot.
That's something that I found helped me, that I go back to when I don't want, because for me it really is, I'm coach, and I coach these kids, and when I feel like, oh, I don't want to push with this parent to like get their kid out there, I just go back to like, I genuinely believe that this player's life, not just in soccer, outside soccer, is going to be better after they work with me. And then I hold myself to that standard when I coach these kids. But I genuinely believe that. And that is what I go to when I'm like, I'm just not even going to text them again about it. I'm like, no, do you believe that you could help this kid have a better playing career and a better life? Then you reach out. And like, that's been that. And it goes back to what you're saying, helping. We want to help. And so if you go back to like, okay, why I'm actually doing it, that helps give me the motivation. Like, okay, I can stick with this. I can go feel like I'm being obnoxious and text them again and be like, hey, are we signing up this month? Whatever it is. Yeah, because it's hard.
Entrepreneurship is hard. I would say one of the last things I want to add to, you said three things. I think there is a fourth, is being able to set yourself up so that you are not your business.
Oh, I love that you said that.
I can use my landscaper, that he's an amazing person. His name's Jose. I've known him since a child. He has a pretty strong presence in this town. He's done very well for himself. He's retiring, and yet he has nobody to take over that he was able to find to really curate and really build up. I think that was a mistake that he made. I think that's something that if he would have maybe put a little bit more time and maybe sacrificed, some of his finances, earlier on to transition somebody to take over. Because ultimately, if your business can't survive without you, then what are you going to do?
If you can't,
something goes wrong. And so I think that's something that that's a hard one, and that you shouldn't have like an answer to that necessarily right away, but definitely when making difficult decisions, like pivots, really ask yourself, is this pivot not only helping the business, but also helping it be more autonomous?
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I love to hear that. And I appreciate your time and being able to have a good time with me in a conversation. And I love it. I love it because we can go back and forth and be goofy, but also like talk about the real shit and add the value. And I love that about you. So thank you.
Well, I can't wait to see your podcast with Ivana. On it. Reach out to her. I know she's back in New York. She is has an incredible, beautiful story, and it's definitely more in line in regards to the business that you're in versus and I think that that conversation will be really a cool one. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Nick. I'll send you the link for my podcast, and then once this one is out, I'll send it to you as well.
Wonderful. All right. Anytime. Always good to see you.
Yep. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm so grateful for your support. I'm already excited for the next show. Turn on notifications and be on the lookout for my next episode. Also, please share the show with anyone you feel like might benefit from listening to. Thank you for all your love and support. I will see you soon.